Thank you so much for being a Patreon member. I appreciate the fact that I can share with people all over the world the fun things about gardening. And I want to share some things that I think are valuable today. So I'm going to share 28 points right here of what we do in the hands-on portion of Bootcamp. So Bootcamp is this week, and day 2, we are going to be here in the Wallapini style solar greenhouse all day long. We'll have to take a couple of breaks, and we'll have lunchtime and stuff like that. But these are the things we're going to do. No, I'm not telling you this just so you know what we do at Bootcamp. I think it's beneficial for you to be able to see what we're doing, because these are the things we do throughout the year to grow food. So by knowing what I'm teaching, even if you never came to boot camp, you could still get some benefit out of knowing the things that we're, the hands-on stuff that we're actually growing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix potting soil for the plug trays. Now the plug trays are these trays right here, and these come in different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're round, these ones are obviously square. And these ones, this one has 10 this way and 20 that way, so there's 200 in here. And if you can peek inside here in the propagation house, here's some lettuce that's ready to plant. So to be able to get soil that goes in here, you can't have big chunks of soil. You need fine soil that goes in there. So in boot camp, we teach people how to mix the potting soil and sift it so that it will fit in here, and so that the plants will grow good. Because if you just use dirt from outside, the plants won't grow. So you need to be able to mix it right. And then we grind up different kinds of fertilizers, and we do use blender to do that. And so we will grind up things like eggshells. There's other things we can grind up to make fertilizers that go into the potting soil, or you could just put it in the garden out there. So we're going to be practicing that. Number 3 is how to actually mix those fertilizers that we make and put them into the garden soil, because if you put too much, it's bad. If you don't put enough, it's not good. Number 4 is the idea of sifting worm castings. So we would take a tool, something like this, and we would sift the compost worm castings, and we use that for potting soil also. But some people don't have a worm farm, and so they need to make potting soil like we did on number 1. So number 4 would replace 1, 2, and 3 if you have a worm farm. Number 5 is practicing planting the seeds. So once we get the seeds or the soil in here, the potting soil ready, then we would plant seeds in here to grow the crops. And so we're going to practice that with probably about 8 or 9 different species of crops. Number 6 is we build a garden from scratch. So we take a piece of cardboard, we put it on the ground, we put compost on top of it, and we smooth it out so that it's ready to go. And we're going to be doing that just right here in the greenhouse. What we've done in the past is we've done that outside, but for this year we're doing it because we have feet of snow outside right now at this time of year in January. Once we build that greenhouse, we will take these plants right here and we will transplant these into the garden that we build from scratch. Number 7, we transplant lettuce in bed number 4. Bed 4 will not be a garden from scratch. It's a bed that has already been growing things, and it is in good shape. There's not invasive weeds. There's not problems. All we have to do is dibble holes and then put the lettuce in. So we're going to be practicing that. And then we're going to be putting lettuce in bed number 4 also in a different area. So we'll be practicing planting garlic. Bed 8, we're going to plant shallots in bed number 5, and we're going to be using the dibble. And so we're going to be learning how to plant bulbs, garlic, shallots, and then the transplants. And then we're going to gather seeds. So I have several plants in the greenhouse. If you look right here by this is a chard plant right here. And then right here, this one is coriander or cilantro. Same plant, different spice that you eat. And so we're going to practice harvesting the seeds from those so that people know how to harvest the seed. And we'll also be shelling corn and peas that are already dried that I harvested in the summer. And I just saved them. And so we will be practicing how to do seed saving. Number 10, we're going to dig and wash carrots. So I will be teaching people hands-on. They're going to be able to dig a bunch of carrots. And I'm going to show them how to wash them with the drill, so that it is easy to do. Because once you take a bunch of dirt into the kitchen a bunch of times, gardening loses its fun if you make a big mess in the house. And then I'm going to teach people how to collect a soil sample, because if you do that wrong, then you get the wrong results. So we're going to do it the right way. So we're going to be digging the hole just right. We're going to be digging in several different places to get because that way it's a true statistic of the area. Because if I just take it from here, that one piece of ground may not be good. So we're going to take it from several pieces of the one bed we want, and then we mix those up, and it averages out to be what we need. Number 12, we're going to be planting peas with the dibble on a trellis that exists in bed 3 over here where the tomatoes used to be. And then 13, we're going to be planting carrots with the earthway cedar. So we're going to be teaching how to use the cedar in a no-till situation, because a lot of people, I've heard them say, well, if we do no-till, I can't use my cedar anymore. That's not true. You certainly can, because the top of your soil should be a nice, beautiful, soft compost all the time. So the cedar should go in it really easy. And then we're going to have lunchtime. And then number 14, we're going to build a compost pile from scratch. So I have the materials in here, and we've had previous videos that have already gone out showing the materials that I gathered for that. 15, we're going to turn the compost that I started the other day, because it's heating up now, and hopefully it'll be at the right temperatures to turn. If it's not, we'll probably turn it anyway, just to make sure people understand how to do that properly. Number 16, we're going to make a compost extract, and then we're going to inoculate the greenhouse. And I'm going to divide people up into teams, and they're going to take watering cans like this, and we'll mix up the extract in the bucket, and then we will put it into here, and then we will just sprinkle it around to get the proper microbes, the good beneficial microbes, out there on the land. Number 17, we're going to mix a fertilizer in one of these, and we're going to put that on crops, because there is a difference between a compost extract and a fertilizer. And that is a big thing that we're always trying to teach people, so that they can learn and understand the difference between those two, because they think, well, if I have my compost, that's my fertilizer. And it's true, compost can have plant nutrients in it, and a good compost will, but that's not the purpose for making a compost. And so we got to keep these things clear. And to make it clear, I made some fun visuals that we're going to be using in Bootcamp, so we can teach and learn that different fertilizers and extracts are different things. 18! Did I miss 17?
No, you just talked about it.
18. Inoculate the bed with worms. So the word inoculate means to introduce. So we're going to take worms from the worm farm, and we're going to put worms in strategic places around the greenhouse where the soil needs to be improved. And then we're going to do the shovel test. And that's where you dig with the shovel and you look at your soil. You look at it carefully and thoroughly. And you're looking for the 6 spheres in the soil. You're looking for the phyllosphere you can see before you dig. But the other ones, you're looking for the detritus-sphere, agrotosphere, porosphere, rhizosphere, and the drillosphere. So you got to see if those are there. And we could even do an earthworm count. There should be 20 earthworms per square foot. And there's a lot of other things. You can look for compaction. You can look at the color. You can look at smell. You can look for hard pans. There's all sorts of things you can do with a shovel test. And then number 20, we're going to do the soil compaction test using the tool called a penetrometer. And we just stick that in the ground, and you've seen videos. If you've watched all the videos in this library, you've seen me use that several times. 21, we're going to do a Brix test. So that's the sugar and protein test of the droplet of juice from a leaf to see if our soil is functioning. And if we have low sugars, then we know that we need to enhance the functionality of the soil. If we have great high sugars, then we know that that the soil's functioning pretty good. 23, a side-by-side comparison test. And so the idea of that and what we're going to do this time is focus on lettuce. So we're going to plant a hot weather variety of lettuce and then a cold weather variety of lettuce, and we'll plant them at this time of year to see how they actually do in our climate. 24, we're going to cover bed 2 and 3 with our floating row cover, frost protection. Sometimes that's a mystery to people how that works, and so we're just going to do it. It's going to be hands-on, it's going to be quick, and people can see how easy that happens. And then 25, we're going to cover bed number 4 with the tulle fabric, which is wedding veil fabric, and that's for disease and insect protection. So a lot of the flying insects that come in will carry disease with them, and when they go and they bite the leaf, then secondary infections happen from the disease that they carry. And so we can stop that with tulle fabric. 26, we're going to propagate the fig tree using air layering. And so we have our air layering kit out here, and we're going to be able to do that. And I'm going to have people practice that so that they can go home and learn how to do asexual propagation of a plant. 27, we're going to make paper pots so that people can pot up from this type of a size of a plant into a bigger pot if you want to. And that's what 28 is we're just going to practice that potting up. So this is the hands-on for day 2 of boot camp, and I think there's about 8 hours of working here that we're going to be doing. And in previous boot camps, we have broken this up into 3 days. But this time, our classroom is going to be day 1, and day 2 is going to be hands-on, and then day 3 is going to be a test so that people can learn what's going on. I'm going to have the different participants stand up, and I'm going to give prizes to people who enjoy, who do a good job, because I'm really good at putting people on the spot, and so we have to counteract that by giving them gifts. It's not whether they get it right, it's whether or not they're a good sport or something. I don't know. But hopefully this helps you to kind of see an overall plan. This is everything that we do. This is all the hands-on that I ever do inside this greenhouse to grow food. And, maybe there's some other details, like how would you wash lettuce and spin it in the salad spinner? But we're not getting quite that detailed. It'd be a 10-day boot camp. If you want to get that detailed with all of the hundreds of things, that's why I do a 17-week course. But for this right here, you can grow plenty of food for your own family if you understand these basics right here. So hopefully this helps you to have a detailed idea of what you can do in your garden to grow the best food ever.